Alright, cool. So that's the song. First thing I was showing you was this Air Music plugin. It's just it's basically like an auto filter in a utility. Just kind of, filtering the song out. It's cool. It's a free plugin. So that's the first thing that's pretty much on everything except for on the synth, because I wanted the synth to kind of echo out. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the kick and bass. Kick first. I froze it down. I pretty much always freeze them and then do it because I like to search that way. 4 on the floor. I think that's, 8 or 16 bars, I can't remember. It's a double kick. Yeah, so I think it's 16 bars. So with kick we have Cut Out the Mud, and the sub frequencies, some drum breaths, and another one just in case the drum breath brings back some frequencies, so cut it out. And this is essentially putting it into mono. It's a mid-side EQ. Then we have this patch from Evo Sounds for the bass. I think I tweaked it a little bit, but it's pretty simple. Lovin' is a free saturation plugin. I put it on bass pretty much always. Overdrive is also a saturator, but I wanted it to use it for the mid-range. That way it could poke through on the mid-range a little bit more. Compressor just to bring it out a little bit, but I don't think I use it that much. Cool. Compressor, bass mono. Pro Q3 is cutting out a little bit of the highs because I didn't need them, and then putting into mono also, so I didn't really probably need both of these. Kickstart is pretty simple. Ducking where the kick is hitting. So that's that. For high, instead of EQing, I was taught to just make a separate channel for the high pass filter. So this is the same exact kick we have above, just with it going to 220 instead of EQing, or instead of automating it on and off. Lastly, for this portion, it's just a sustain note. It's the same thing as this one, but just a sustain note because it's a breakdown section and we don't need it moving up and down. It's just keeping it groovy. That way when it hits again, you're happy with it. On the group, we have this going to just 1 to 2 dB to low end extender glue compressor with soft clipping. Saturation for the lows, and then Pro Q3, just same thing we showed earlier, keeping it mono. Probably unnecessary, but just for safekeepings. So let's turn all of these off now. Okay, cool. So to start off, I pretty much always use 909. So oh, this EQ's cutting some resonances. Another one cutting some resonance just because I couldn't see. It's pretty cool. Kickstart to make it a little bit shorter. Just kind of cut some of that tail. Standard clip. Cool. Pretty simple, just cutting it a little off. A little bit of reverb, I think. Let's go into the claps. So let's start with the beginning one. Just the main clap. I think I froze pretty much all these, so we won't have everything I did to them. Sidechain to make it shorter, but I don't think I needed it. EQ, I should have had it like this, but it's no big deal. Clip, just like I just showed you, just get the peaks a little bit. And then we have these snares, so it's like alternates every little bit. I don't remember exactly what I did to these either, but they've got a little bit of reverb, a little bit of delay on them. And it just makes the drum loop a little more interesting, just with some snares in there. EQ, standard clip, EQ, standard clip, adding a little bit of the highs. Let's see, clap effects, we have one going to the left and one going to the right. It's an extra layer going alternating, so clap, 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 clap. And then some of them have like a reverse clap into them. So like this one has a school FX, and this one has some ping pong delay. And same thing on the right side, some ping pong delay. So let's go ahead and play it. Just kind of fills up the frequency a little bit and creates a little bit more interest. Yeah. So next we have the shakers. Go ahead and close the clap bus. Close you too. Shakers. So we have a left and a right shaker. Just to kind of put them to the side, make it a little bit wider. Oh, it's not on. That one's to the left. That one's to the right. They sound different. And then over here we have one that I labeled as wider or panning shaker because it's going, you could see on this, it's panning. Could feel it a little bit. But I made it wider, use this plugin. Just makes it a little bit wider, it's pretty known. So for this one, I cut it to all the highs. And then I put some overdrive because I wanted this one to hit more in the mid-range since both of these ones are in the highs. So then after I have it, it shows it like this. So there we go. You can see right here. See this, open it up. Like see there's not much mids, but overdrive is bringing those mids in. So that's why I did that. And I don't really need the highs because both of these are providing highs. Then we have wider in the clipper on each of those. Let's see, for group compression, we have glue compressor. Honestly, it's not doing anything. I normally have it go to like 1 to 2 or 2 to 5 dB, but I guess I didn't do it properly, or maybe it does it better right here. Nope, just didn't do a great job. Saturation, just to glue it all together, only at 50%. A little bit of reverb, 20 with pretty much no decay, 200. Kickstart to duck the kick, that way the transient gets through. Pro Q3 just to make sure and brought a little bit of the highs back in right there. Let's see, yeah, and that's only on the side, so it's only pushing the side information for the highs. So what this is doing is whenever the open hat is hitting, let's see, so you'll see these frequencies will duck. This is side chain to the open hat versus, well, it's still doing it even though it's not on, but here, now it won't. No, well, it's not supposed to, but that's what it does. It's just ducking so that way the hat can be the main focus whenever that happens. So that way the hat can mix through a little bit, and auto filter for automations. We'll get to automations later. So this is where we're at right now. Oh, I should put it right here. Okay, cool. Oh, I guess I skipped over that part. Well, this is for the drums, a little bit of compression, 1 dB, 50%. A vocoder, and then utility just for automations. But for the vocoder, it's kind of cool. You can have it on the high, so a little bit right here, a little bit here. And this way, as the track, as it gets forward, closer to like the break sections, it just like adds a little, something, add like a lot. shit. Alright, there we go, fixed it. But yeah, it just makes it interesting. Change it over time. That's what's on this. Same thing with the utility, just change it over time. I guess I did it on this one, didn't do it on this one. That's pretty bad actually. But anyways, let's see. Oh man, I can't believe I did that. Didn't change this one either. Anyways, let's see. So that's that. We have the shakers and everything. Now we move on to this percussion. One's a stick, and one is a little laser sound. So let's hear a stick. That's a stick. Let's hear the laser. So on these, we just have cutting some resonances on the stick, some saturation to push it up a little bit, another EQ to cut the lows if any were brought back, and push the highs a little bit more, some delay just to spread it out, and then clip just to clip. On the laser sound, we just have some EQ and delay. It's pretty simple. You don't really hear it too much, but we'll play it all together in the mix. Just like background noise. So next we have this bongo group. Turn you on solo. So for the group, we have it going, taking close to 4 to 5 dB soft clip. For the glue compression, just to glue it all together, saturation to glue it together, reverb to glue it together. All these things just to make it sound like, you know, a couple of 2 or 3 people are just playing some bongos together and creating this like unique pattern. We have the Pro Key 3 just to make sure we're cutting, taking a little bit of the highs out. We have this so that way whenever the snares hit, just like that EQ or the Pro multiband, for the shakers to the hi-hat, this is letting the snares poke through, as well as this is letting the percussion, like that glitch in the stick, poke through. So whenever this is playing and those hit, let's see. If I turn it off, you hear it. So cool, that's what that's doing. Same thing with this one. So that's for the snares, that one's for the percussion. Sidechain for the kick. Let the kick poke through. Utility for some automations, auto filter and standard clip. So this is the first percussion we have, bongo. So it's pretty much, this is the whole loop, and it just has a little reverse tail at the end. So, and it kind of just brings you back into the loop. This is like so on that one, EQ Saturn for transient saturation. There's some transient followers, and then compression to bring it up onto the mix more. EQ and then standard clip. And on this one's kind of panning to the side. You can hear same thing, compression, saturation, EQ. On this I have the LFO mapped to the left and right. You can do this with auto pan, but I just feel like it's easier to control using the LFO, and that's what I like to do. So that's that one, use these together. Like this one's like a nice, more of a mid-range one, and this one has a little bit more highs into it. And we have some like one shots, so we got same thing, it's just a little bit left and right, a little bit of delay with ping pong, bongo hits. So let's see, what is that for? So that way, this one is for later in the track, that Pro multiband. It's doing the same thing we were talking about earlier, letting stuff poke through, but this one hits more often and is used more in the song. So whenever this one hits, this one will be quiet instead of having to go and edit everything. That's how I chose to do it. And then standard clip. Same thing for this one, just a little bit of panning, some delays, pretty simple, just pushing stuff to the sides a little bit. So here's what the whole bongo sounds like, the whole loop. And then with everything. Alright, cool. this part is a little reggaeton part that I wanted to add because I thought it would be kind of interesting for like a Latin tech house track to have a reggaeton portion. And I had been inspired by this other YouTube video I saw where this guy was making a techno track and had a small portion where it was a breakbeat section. And so yeah, I thought it would be cool to do a little bit of reggaeton section. So I just pulled this loop off of Splice that I liked because I don't know much about it, but I watched a little bit of YouTube. On this loop we have an EQ. I really wanted to bring out the kick more because I didn't feel like the bass and the kick was that strong. So that's what that's doing. Bring it down just a little bit right there on the knocky part. And then this EQ is kind of used as like an auto filter. We'll go ahead and click on that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. It's got this bass line that I made. I froze it. Sounds cool. So yeah, that's where we are. And these are just for automations. We have one for the EQ8 and another EQ8. Let's see what you do. Device on. So it's turning it on and off right here. There's gotta be a frequency one somewhere. Nope. Okay, different frequency then. Cool. So whenever this portion, there's no bass right here, and then whenever this little fill happens, and this is when the bass turns on. So that's why we have it cut to 200. That way it's not any bass in this portion. And same thing, it's at 300 right here for whenever the drums and stuff come back on, because we don't need the bass from this and from my kick and bass line essentially. So that's what we have right here. So that's what's on the kick. I think that's pretty much it. Standard clip. This is the bass line. I froze it, but it was a serum patch. I compressed it. Bring it down some. Pro Q3. I brought it up a little bit. I'm not sure why I did that, but made it dynamic. Put it in mono. Cut a little bit of the highs. Probably didn't need to cut the highs. Kept it in mono again. Kickstart. I kickstarted it to the reggaeton. That way they don't clash. The kick and the bass from the reggaeton loop don't clash. EQ following the same pattern as this kick, so it's literally the same EQ. Then these were just some top loops, some sticks that I added. I wanted it later in the song, just to make it a little more interesting later in the song. And then I also decided whenever the song came back on, I thought it'd be cool to, have this little reggaeton part in the background, just making it interesting. So on here we have an EQ span I don't need. It's just so you can see what frequency it's in. This is a Pro G, it's a gate. I don't remember why I used it, but I guess I was trying to cut something out of this, so I used the gate. That's this one, the standard clip, probably didn't need it. Didn't need the Pro gate on this one, just a little EQ. So all together we have, let's see, I might have to unselect. It just makes it like a cool, like interesting part for like the second part of the song. Alright, cool. So next we have the vocals. They're both the same vocal. I just had stretched one, and then these are some vocal hits. But so let's get into the vocals. Pretty cool stuff. So I just had looped it and then did an auto fade on it, and then Command J it to consolidate it. But here we have the vocals turning on. Let's hear this one. Right here. So that's what it says. It just loops Takatimi, taka, whatever. So on this vocal we have, and I did some other stuff, but I think I froze it, I can't remember. Some EQ, bring up the highs a little bit, and then utility I just used to automate it, the volume a little bit. But the portal is what's doing the cool stuff. So portal is just a cool plugin. It's on this Warble glitch. So that way, let's see. No, we don't care about utility. Portal. So it's just drag wetting. That way it's starting to glitch instead of it being the same thing the whole time, so you'll hear it glitch over itself. And same thing, so it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Instead of hearing the same thing, it is the same, but it makes it a little bit more interesting. And same thing when this is just playing, so I'm going to play with all the song now. So it just like echoes it out and it glitches it a good amount. It just makes it more interesting. Instead of just being very flat the whole time, it's like automating the way it sounds and changing it. So let's hear right here also. And so like when you're listening to the song, maybe you'll hear a little bit, but you probably won't even notice that. For this, it's exactly the same thing. Let's see, I don't even know if maybe Pearl's just on, I don't know what I did to it, but I just literally grabbed it and stretched it all the way out for like the second part of the song. I just wanted to make it a little more interesting. So when you're in the second portion of the build up, it just makes it a little more interesting. Alright, that's cool. I guess I forgot on this one, I automated the pitch. So let's see. Transposition. So that way, that's how you heard it kind of, it's going up on this last 13 part. Just to make it a little cooler. I think it's cooler at least. Let's see. So yeah, then you can hear this other stuff going off. It's this is only in the second part of the song. It's a little, just a little fill, some EQ, delay, just so it make it spread through. Standard clip, soccer whistle. And then this is just an actual whistle I found. And so like when this plays, you have this like call and response from these whistles to this whistle. It just sounds kind of cool. So like when we have all these other mid-range elements like the synth playing, that's pretty driving. You barely hear it, but it's good like background noise. So there's that. And I think I forgot one thing. So I did forget this portion, this little fill I made for the drop. I forgot to talk about that. It's pretty cool. So it took me a little bit of time to get right, but it's literally just, I trial and error and figure it out. But it's like a down sweep and then a so let's hear it. Yeah, it just kind of it's like a little fill. So I forgot about that. And I didn't use this in the second portion where we just were. I made these fills because there wasn't enough space for them to all land at that same place. So that's why I didn't use it. But I do use that fill every now and then. So next, it's not really a synth, but it's just a brass vocal or a brass sample I found. So let's go ahead and take a look. Man, I did a lot of, so EQ, cuts and lows, saturation, soothe too. Let's see what that does. Also this auto filters up, so it just kind of gets some frequencies. That's what the soothe does. EQ, just cut some of the lows, even though I probably didn't need to do this. Wider to make it a little bit wider. Portal to make it more interesting. So it's kind of like what I did with this portal is it's these, I have it going side to side, so as it plays it's just moving it, making it different. It's all about making it different as it goes on. Some reverb, just normal reverb, not automated. I don't even know if I changed it, to be honest. It just sounded good to me. Some delay. Auto filter, that's, I'm using it for automations. Pro Q3. So this is kind of doing the same thing we're doing with that multi-band compressor, just pulling down whenever it's sidechained to the vocal bus. So that way whenever the vocal hits, this is ducking out of the way of the vocal. So So yeah, and it's only in the mids. It's not in the whole thing. That's why I didn't use the multi-band. I just wanted the vocals to push through in the mids. I didn't need to push through the whole signal. So there's that, and then Endless Smile is just kind of, for the build-ups. And also I used it on pretty much every portion like this where it's kind of dying. You probably won't hear it that much. You'll hear it in this, so it just kind of drags it on. I mean, it's essentially reverb, but I just thought it sounded really cool to tail off. So now we'll listen to like this portion. Oh, it won't be there. Let's see right here. And then once again, I wanted this to kind of like glitch out. So I used another portal, and it's not just this other portal I have. Or maybe there's just one portal. I thought I used two. Yeah, this portal. And then this second portal is just for the later part of the song, because as it moves on, I wanted to kind of fade and like start to glitch as the song ended. So like, so it's just glitching. Just to make it more interesting as the song goes on. Last thing is the FX, nothing on the group. So this is just some pads. I love using these. So, oh, it's not on. Cool, it's just going left and right just with auto pan. So let's play it in context. You hear it mostly just in this beginning part. I don't know, I just love using it. Just cut a little bit of the highs so that the stuff can push through. Now these, you'll have to watch the tutorials to figure out how I made them. I basically used this and used one of the portal settings that had a really long reverb, and I printed it to audio. And so I just duplicated it. I made one left and one right, and I reversed them. So here's the left one. So now in the song, you don't really notice it that much, but it just kind of is like an ambience. So like you hear it more in this one. It's just like background noise. So they're kind of pads. They're not, I mean, they look like they're on the whole time, but I just command consolidated them, but they have like fade clips, so they're not always present in the mix. Then these are simple like up, riser, down sweeps. Right here we have another one, just to make it a little more interesting. So it's like this. This is when the bass is going to come in. I just thought it sounded pretty sick. This is another riser, and it delays so that way it drags it on a little bit more. Like some little synth noises. Let's see what this one is. So this one was for the build up. It's just a small riser. And these two are some crashes, but they're different. One's pan all the way to the left, one's to the right. So one's to the left. One's up. And then with that little fill, the bongo fill, it sounds really cool. It sounds like a part of the bongo almost. Like, just sounds like it's supposed to be a part of it. This I also use from Portal. It's a part of that synth. It's just stretched out. It sounds like a little glitchy noise. And you kind of hear it in the background. So like if I play it, like, let's turn this off. This is just a vocal I found and I reversed it. It's just like, and then a snare build to finish us off. And so for the snare build, I used it also when I was going into the reggaeton portion, just to kind of get you ready. And I only used the big one for the bigger second drop. So now we can go ahead and move on to arrangement essentially. and we'll use the extended mix for the arrangement because I think it's more interesting. But so essentially what we're doing is kick and clap and everything, no bass, and something is getting added every 4 bars. So boots and cats, shaker, we got the snares going, and then here we're gonna add the percussion in the first bongo. It just keeps it interesting from the very beginning if you were a type of person that likes to listen to the whole track. So right here we have another bongo coming in. Right here we have the bass and another bongo coming in. You hear that pad. So this is kind of just letting you're DJing and you mixed. You got this is your first bass portion, and then we have what is that? 8 bar. Another 8 bar portion, allowing the vocal to auto filter in and introduce into the build up. Cool. Alright, cool. So we have the build up, this rise, we did some stuff I showed you earlier. We took some stuff away, so right here we just have open hat, the clap, shakers, the percussion, and then that first main bongo, the boom 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 boom. And then we're gonna add stuff again, just kind of like techno. So we add those snares in after 4 bars, I believe. Then add the left and the right FX after another 4 bars. So now we're this is 16 bars in, and we have that fill, and we have these little breaks in between. And I like this little double kick that I use a lot of songs. It just brings you back into the bass portion. And then right here we have, this is when we start to bring in the reggaeton portion. So it's like auto filtering in, and we're also auto filtering the drums out. So this is the portion where it's that reggaeton, and the second portion of the drop. So same thing, just kind of leaving some emptiness. That way it carries on for the song, letting there to be more interesting stuff going on. So that's what we have. This is the first part of the drop. Let's see. In the second portion, we just added this, the extended glitch that I showed you guys about. And we added that call and response with the fake whistle to the real whistle, or human to the soccer whistle. And here we have, instead of doing these 8 bar sections like we did before, we have a 16 bar section. We're bringing everything in right here, and then right here is when the outro is starting to happen. So we have that 16 bars for the DJ to start to bring in the drums of the old track. We take out a lot of drums, we're slowly bringing out the rest. The bass is gone, DJ's mixing in right here, the song ends. So that's the extended mix. The only difference for the radio is I added this little portion with this with a brass instrument, just because I think it's more interesting, and I thought it didn't make sense to start it like right here because we're already a good deal into that vocal. So I thought it made more sense to start it like that. So that's pretty much all that's going on with this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Probably not the best track, but I think there's definitely some stuff that people can learn from what I do, and especially from things that they can learn that I shouldn't do. And they'll probably put it in the comments and be like, I can't believe you did that. Like, that's so dumb. But yeah.